Hey, this is Lance Bass, and you're listening to 91.5 Modern Rock. That looks scary.
You don't
Yeah,
look
we were going to
like
ask you about it. Doesn't even look like you, though. I seen you in person. That looks
You look
nothing
like a
you.
demon or something. Those
I
crazy.
know.
I
And I
mean,
remember when they took this picture too, because it was at Giant Stadium.
was that the outfit and everything?
No, I was not wearing that.
Lance came in to talk to CMU students about the music industry and some of his personal experiences. The one thing that I thought was really interesting about the first thing you talked about was how, us being college students, we dream big. We're here in college to fulfill.
This is the place to dream.
To fill our dreams. But the one thing that you said, you had your formula preparation and opportunity. But exactly how much is it like hard work?
It's tremendously hard. That's what it all is. And like I was saying tonight, dreaming is the first step, but it's definitely not the only one at all. I mean, everyone can dream, but it's really just making those steps into making it become reality. That is the hardest thing.
Since you're our age, you're 25, I'm 23, 21, 19. 19, the teeny bopper. But, so you've reached a level of success. What is that? How does that feel for you, that you've achieved this, like a high level of success so early?
It's amazing, especially, and I noticed that, I am very young, but it is like, well, do you think you can give advice because of your age? I'm like, well, I think so, because I really do believe since I was 16, I grew up in this business, and I really have lived so many different lifetimes, and I've seen everything, and I've grew up literally around the world. So I do think I have something good to say, and I hope people do take something good away with them.
I thought it was great. One thing that I got, you talked about how the European music industry, so is it safe to kind of say like the European music industry is kind of like the minor league of the music industry, or what?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a minor league, but it definitely is, I would say, was behind the time. You go over there, and I mean, I've lived in Russia, I lived in Germany, and it does feel like you're back in the 80s. It's just really behind the times. Here in America, we're just all about the technology of what's next.
Well, being a fan and being privileged enough to ask you a few questions, I'll call these questions the questions that I will take to my deathbed if I never get them answered by Lance Bass.
Nice.
Number one, if you were to pop in an NSYNC's greatest hits album right now, including the B-sides, whatever, sentimental favorites, what would be the first song you'd...
My favorite song that we have done is, I like our a cappella stuff. I mean, that's how we started. So I always, I Thought She Knew is one of my favorites, and I like the, actually was on the Christmas album, Oh Holy Night.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the words, baby, my love for you will always stay true?
Wow, that's called 1995. That was when you were 10.
Yeah.
I always got stuck with the cheesy Boys to Men lines, which I liked because I wanted that, like, oh, sexy, like, Barry White. Back then, I didn't get to write what I said.
Right.
You've been doing TV, you've been doing movies, and you like doing this speaking to crowds. You ever thought about doing radio in the future?
I love radio. Actually, I have. Actually been approached in the last week, a couple of radio shows. Yeah.
All right, one thing that I've noticed about, about pop musicians, all right, being a guy and everything, being this...
We were forced to do that.
All right, but for our listeners,
look
I'm looking
so
at the
happy
Ultimate Instinct quiz book. It's on page 22. It's a picture of the guys looking tough in the pool.
Oh my,
page
not
22.
Tough. We look
But
gay
is this
as hell.
superimposed?
And this is in our pool in our backyard before we had a record deal.
But what's it like
Oh
to
my
to be marketed like that? Do you
Well,
feel like
no one ever saw those pictures until now. I mean, we're all really hard workers, but
Oh, yeah, I'm not
I think
saying that.
Chris really, he had the idea of the whole group.
All right, Lance, from Modern Rock 91.5 and the Six Pack for the Soul, I'd like to thank you for coming to Central Michigan University and for the program.
Thanks for
board
having
all
me,
their help.
guys. Hey, this is Lance Bass, and you're listening to 91.5 Modern Rock.